Hello everybody, Ultra749 here. You have waited all month. I have talked about it, well, only recently. I have teased about it, which you have likely seen with my teaser clips. These YouTube shorts are pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. I have criticized them before. Anywho, uh, just like my CD collection we did before, this time I'm going to be flexing my vinyl collection. Now, as you can see, this isn't exactly going to be at the kitchen table just like last time. In fact, I couldn't do it right now because my parents are watching a show right now, and I think I'd annoy them. And these vinyls are bigger than CDs. We're talking old world stuff here. So, before we start, we're gonna begin with these newer records that I got. Well, new-ish. A lot of these are reissues, and some of them are recent releases of this year, for example. So we're gonna start with that, and then we'll move on to some of the older used records that I have in my collection. Oh, let me tell you, some of them are old. Actually, no, a lot of them are old. Far older than your parents, maybe. Probably released sometime during your parents' lifetime. I'm not kidding when I say used. The type of record player I have here, which is probably what you saw on the teaser clips, is capable of playing these records, including the old ones. However, it gives them a remastered sound. The previous record player I had could play these older records, but with the old original audio, and it sounded very raw. With this one, it remasters it, and it just sounds great. So, we're gonna begin with one of the newer / reissues that I got from Modern Source. This one, I believe I got on my birthday from my sister. At least I believe she got it for me. And it's the Eagles' Greatest Hits album. It's their highest selling album of their career, and it contains their most famous hits. Hold on a sec. This is in there. It contains some of their biggest hits: "Take It Easy," "Witchy Woman," my grandmother's favorite tune, "Lion Eyes," "Already Gone," "Desperado," "One of These Nights," "Tequila Sunrise," "Take It to the Limit," "Peaceful Easy Feeling," and "Best of My Love." I don't think I've heard that one. Neither have I heard "Tequila Sunrise," but this is considered their best-selling album. Not only that, in recent years, it became the best-selling album of the United States alone, outselling Michael Jackson's Thriller. Some people had a problem with that. I don't exactly have a problem with greatest hits albums. I just prefer the real deal, if you know what I mean. We'll get to that soon. Here, and I just had to get this. I got it from the local Nebraska Furniture Mart up in Omaha. Oh yeah. Getting a vinyl copy of Dark Side of the Moon is a must, and it is really good. Just classic. You see the album art here, the whole rainbow and whatever that is. Looks like a seismograph, and it also came with a poster, which has something to do with the album's themes. Actually, 2 posters, maybe 3. It's been a while. Which I thought was cool. They've been re-releasing these more classic albums as of late. I've seen them a lot in Walmart. There's the whole band right there. There's David Gilmour. That's Roger Waters. I think that's Roger Waters again. I believe that's Nick Mason. And no, that's Nick Mason. That must be Richard Wright. Oh yeah. I hope you can see that. And this is just a really good poster. It's just the lineup. It's just a collage of the lineup. Okay. And here we got something about Blue Pyramids here. I'm not entirely sure what it has to do with Dark Side of the Moon, but I showed it to my mother once, and she thinks that it has something to do with the concept of time. And that happens to be a song on this album. So thematically, it has something to do with the album. I'm just not sure what specifically. Alright. Which one is this one? Oh, wow. We'll get to this one soon. This one I bought with my own money from Walmart. I'd say sometime last year. Pearl Jam's debut and highest selling album, 10. Some of their most famous tunes are on this album, and this is a 2017 reissue. And that's when I started really listening to these guys. I didn't have much of an interest listening to grunge bands like Pearl Jam until I gave these guys a try. I do love this album, and I think some of their work is great, but at the same time, half of Pearl Jam's catalog are really hit or miss. I hated No Code. To the YouTuber Ellie Yeet, I will tell you what I told him. I hated No Code. I do not know what the point of that album was. It was just garbage. This one I also bought with my own money. Van Halen's highest selling album, 1984. Nothing to do with George Orwell's novel of the same name, though. But as you guessed, it contains their most popular song, Jump, and one of their other most popular tunes, Panama, Hot for Teacher, which you saw in my teaser clip, and really, those two tunes are their most famous tunes. But I think I'll Wait is a good contender. 1984, man, that year we got some good music out of it. Metallica's Ride the Lightning album, which you may have seen in my CD collection vid. What else? Deep Purple's comeback album, Perfect Strangers. If I ever find a copy of that, I'm going to get it. CD or vinyl, preferably vinyl. And here we have a Christmas gift that I got from last year from my mother, Adele's album, recent hit, 30. And it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful albums I ever heard in my life. What do I say about it? I mean, my goodness. And when her most famous song from this album, Easy on Me, debuted on the radio, it just sounded beautiful. And I'm an Adele fan. I'm a self-professed Adele fan. I mean, you gotta love this woman. I might just collect some of the rest of her catalog on vinyl as well, if I ever come across it. If they do reissues at Walmart or Target or wherever records are sold, I will do that. But this is just a masterpiece. I think it's safe to say it's my favorite album from last year. This is a recent release, and just 2 years, I think, after he released Ordinary Man, Ozzy's latest album, Patient Number 9. In this one, he's collaborated with notable musicians, Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, Jeff Beck, Zakk Wylde, his longtime collaborator, former Black Sabbath bandmate Tony Iommi, Eric Clapton, and that's about it. Those are the big names he's worked alongside. And this is actually a pretty good album. It's really neat. I got more of a solemn tone feeling from its tone, and maybe that's the point. This year has been rough, so I totally get it if that's the case. Hold on a second. Okay. So, I was looking forward to getting this album when it was first announced. Megadeth's latest, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Very fitting that I'm also wearing one of their merch. I bought this ahead of time before the album's release, and it is awesome. It is a very neat follow-up to their 2016 album, Dystopia, which is my second favorite. My first favorite, you probably already know, would be Rust in Peace. I'm going to give this another listen, because I can't get enough, man. It's just great. They got, let's open it up here, and as you can see, they got the lineup here. Right here, I believe, is Dirk Verburen. That must be James Lomenzo. I can't exactly tell. Kiko Loureiro, their lead guitarist, well, co-lead guitarist, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dave Mustaine. Now, I'm not exactly going to take sides, but I do hope that Dave and Ellefson reconcile in some way, if they can mend their friendship in any way, shape, or form, because it was really shocking to hear all that drama from last year. I just hope there's no bad blood between them. This one, I believe, was released last year, but I bought it this year. Robert Plant and Alison Krauss's Raise the Roof. Now, if you guys are Led Zeppelin fans, you're going to want to listen to this one. Especially if any of you guys are Alison Krauss fans. These two are a lovely duo. I love it. And it's got their lyrics, the lyrics to their songs here. Go Your Way, Quattro, World Trips In, Trouble With My Lover, Can't Let Go. These are pretty new songs. But yeah, this is I highly recommend this album. It's a beauty. It's beautiful. Billy Joel's The Stranger, which is his highest selling album, and his biggest one that he released in the 70s. At one point, Columbia were going to drop him if he didn't produce a big selling album, and this would be it. That, or it was probably another album. I forget which one. But this is the one that got his name out there, and I hear at least two of his songs from this album air on at my job, at work. It's Moving Out, Anthony's song, and Just the Way You Are. I could be wrong, though. Have I? Oh, yes! Only the Good Die Young. This has some key favorites. And Billy Joel's just awesome. Journey's most popular studio album, Escape. Now, I had to get this album because I like Journey. They're an awesome band. But what's disappointing, it doesn't even fit my freaking record player. I gotta take this in and see if there's something that can be done about that, because I didn't buy this for nothing. It really upset me that I couldn't play it because it was too big. So we'll put that aside. This. Oh, this. Rush's 2112, and in the back is all three dudes. The late Neil Peart, Alex Lifeson, and Geddy Lee. This album is a straight-up masterpiece, and they were going through very tumultuous time early in their career. Caress of Steel, their previous album before this one, was a flop, and their careers were in jeopardy, and if they didn't take themselves seriously, well, nobody took them seriously. They thought that they were a bunch of kids playing with instruments. It was go big or go home. They went big, and it paid off. This is such an awesome song. I mean, well, actually, it is a song. The part one of the album. I've listened to all 20 minutes of it so many times. I got this for my birthday once. The Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed. It's a reissue, and I believe I got it for my birthday. Um, it's a good album, and I like the Stones. So we're gonna continue on. Now I got multiple albums from the same artist, in a sense, for these next bunches. I'm pretty sure about it. Anywho, this one I bought from Record Benders. Well, a lot of these, okay, ahead of time, I'm just going to say it. A lot of these used records I bought from Record Benders. 4 of them, however, I bought from another record joint that's at an old mall down the street from where I live. You'll see what they are soon. Foreigner's debut album, which was released in 1977, same year as Billy Joel's The Stranger. And it contains some of their most famous tunes. Feels Like the First Time. Cold as Ice, and Star Rider. Oh, and Head Knocker. This is actually a very good debut, and I started listening to Foreigner after I watched a documentary, Behind the Music. These guys have had it rough, especially Lou Gramm. Poor dude. Foreigner's arguably most popular album, primarily because it contains their number one hit, I Want to Know What Love Is, Agent Provocateur, and this is a good album, actually. A lot of the songs are very catchy. It's got A Love in Vain, Down on Love, I Want to Know What Love Is, I just had to do it, Tooth and Nail, That Was Yesterday, She's Too Tough, which is the ending track. Not sure why they have them reversed on the back when listed, but this is a very good album, and I recommend it if you got Spotify, Napster. Yes, Napster still exists. And this is their second album that they released in '78. Double Vision, and it contains more of their most famous tunes. Double Vision, the title track, Hot Blooded, Spellbinder, and, well, that's about it. Oh, Blue Morning, Blue Day. And I hear some of the Foreigner's songs, Aaron Menard's Radio. I don't think I've heard I Want to Know What Love Is, Aaron Menard's Radio before, but, hey, why not? I'd like to hear it. It's a lovely song. Okay, these here, Rolling Stones' Tattoo You. Now, I got it primarily because of Start Me Up, but I love its ending track, Waiting on a Friend. And this was the first of more albums they'd released in the 1980s. This one was released in 1981. Emotional Rescue, I don't think... Well, I've listened to it before, but I don't really remember it. I may have to give this another listen in my spare time. This one was given to me from someone I know. You guys may never have heard this guy, but I listened to this album and it was pretty good. The Mason Williams phonograph record. Mason Williams. I've never heard of this dude, but I listened to it once and yeah, this is pretty good. It's an easy listening pop album mostly. It's pretty good. It's enjoyable. It's not something I rave about. Oh yes. ZZ Top's Eliminator. And this is when they really hit it big. This is a used record. They've reissued this album in Walmart, but before I found that out, I bought this instead. It's a used copy. It contains the band's most famous hits, Give Me All Your Lovin', Sharp Dressed Man, and Legs. Ooh la la. This is a really neat album, and it really got ZZ Top on the map. Alright. Now, you guys may not so you Van Halen fans out there, you may not like him, but I do. So does my dad. Sammy Hagar's Standing Hampton. It's got some of his it's got his two, maybe three most famous hits. There's Only One Way to Rock, Heavy Metal, and his cover of Piece of My Heart. I forget who it was that originally did the song, but Sammy covered it, and I like his version better. This here, The Gamers Unite, the, the Fallout 4 official soundtrack, and it's a really lovely listen. It's the entire score that you hear as you're playing the game. One of these days I might actually play it, especially on my PS5, which I'll show in just a bit. I wonder if they'll ever make a Fallout 5. But this is a very good record to listen to. Now, this is one of the first I'd buy in 2019, not long after I started collecting vinyls. Boston, and it contains this specific album contains their hit tune "More Than a Feeling" and also "Peace of Mind" and "Smokin'." I'm gonna listen to this album again. It was a fun listen. I definitely love "Peace of Mind," but "More Than a Feeling" is the most anthemic and most memorable tune that they seem to be known for, most of all. I have not listened to this album in a long time, and I'm definitely going to give it a listen sooner or later. Joe Cocker's Unchain My Heart. I bought this album after I first discovered the guy, and in fact, he's a singer that my dad is a fan of. And first time I listened to it, I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I really enjoyed this album, and I just don't remember listen what the songs sound like here, but I'm definitely gonna give it a listen. I loved it the first time. I know I'll love it the second. Now this was at another record shop at the old mall down the street from where I live. Aerosmith Rocks, and it contains Back in the Saddle, Last Child, Rats in the Cellar, and this album was very awesome. It was a very fun album to listen to. I'm quite positive it's also an album that started they started getting big, and they didn't start getting big until they released Permanent Vacation. But this one got them noticed, and it's cited as an influence by some of your favorite bands. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. Now I just had to get this one primarily because of the opening tune. Aldo Nova's Fantasy. Well, actually no, Aldo Nova, that's the name of the album, but this is his debut. The opening track is Fantasy, and it's unfortunately the only tune he's mostly notable for. Unfortunately, suffice to say, he's a one-hit wonder, but I'm quite positive he's still active, and this is a very good album. ZZ Top's Fandango. And this is a live album and also contains studio recordings, including one of their most famous tunes, Tush, which is the ending track, and it's an awesome song to listen to, plus we all know what it's about, so. Uriah Heep. I kind of mistook him for Jethro Tull when I heard one of their tunes, but I'm quite positive I came across one of their songs on Napster once, and this was actually a pretty good album. Uriah Heep are pretty cool. Yeah. Every metalhead knows who these guys are. You thought the Scorpions were the only metal band from Germany? You thought wrong. Because these guys come in second. Germany's thrash band, at least I think they're thrash, Accept, and it's their most famous album, Balls to the Wall. When I saw this at Record Vendors, I had to get it. It's such an awesome tune to listen to. The opening track is the title track, Balls to the Wall. The next song, London Leather Boys, Fight It Back, Head Over Heels, and it ends with Winter Dreams. I thought the song was called Long Winter Nights, and it also contains a poster. Flamboyant. These dudes, wow. This is the lineup, and right there is now former bandmate Udo Dirkschneider. And this album is really cool. If you ever find another one of their albums on vinyl, I'm definitely going to get them. I do believe that this is a cool band. All right, hold on a second. Ah! Trying to put it away. Nah, it'll be fine. I'll deal with that later. Now you guys know I'm a big fan of Bryan Adams, so I got this from Record Vendors. You want it, you got it. This is when he started really getting out there. Not a lot of memorable tunes here, dare I say. I'm sorry, Bryan Adams fans, but you know it's true. However, he really get out there with his third album, Cuts Like a Knife, and this is a very, very great album. It's got the title track, I'm Ready, The Best Was Yet to Come. This was when he really started getting out there, and I believe this was released, just a year before he released Reckless, his second most popular album, right behind Waking Up the Neighbors, my favorite album from the man. I've been looking for this album everywhere, and when I found it at that other record shop, I believe it was called 402 Vinyl, I had to get it. It contains their most famous song, Carry On Wayward Son. This is the Kansas album. Leftoverture. My dad thought it was a rarity, but I guess not. And I got it at a very, very good price. So this is another Kansas album. There's not really a lot of famous songs to remember, worth noting. But this is their Monolith album, and I'd say it's released 2 years after Leftoverture. I think their follow-up after Leftoverture contains Dust in the Wind. But when I find that album, I'm gonna get it. Now, I actually like Jethro Tull, and I enjoyed listening to Crest of the Knave, so when I found this, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get this. Aqualung is a very fun album, and what can I say? It's Jethro Tull. Not bad for a band that beat Metallica at that one Grammy ceremony, but these guys are really cool. Ian Anderson is a master on the flute. Now this belonged to my father, Prince. New Power Generation. It's a maxi single, and it contains songs NPG, TC's Rap, Brother with a Purpose, Get Off, The Lubricated Lady, Love Left, Love Her Right. It's a maxi single, so and it's definitely seen better days. It was in a box last time we were cleaning out the garage, and I begged my dad if I could begged my dad to let me keep it, and, well, of course he did. I'm the one with the records anyway. Now you guys know I like Eric Clapton, so I got 4 vinyl records here. Backless, which I believe he released sometime after Slow Hand, a year after. And it contains, there's a song on here that I like called Promises, and I'm pretty sure Tulsa Time is one of his most famous hits too. You open it up, and there's a collage of his adventures, let's just say. I don't know who that guy is. That looks like Clapton fooling around right there. Who the heck is that guy? It must be his backing bandmate. I think